Hello and welcome to another Talkers episode. I'm your host Teddy, and today I'm being joined once again by
Hayden.
And today we're going to talk about the TMNT, the 2012 Season 2, Episode 20, Plan 10. So, what do you think about this episode, briefly?
Briefly, I thought this was a really funny and interesting episode to watch. Not only because Ralph becomes Krang, but how it's just executed in a way that's just really out of this world and really funny to me.
Yeah, I mean, I've always really enjoyed this episode and always thought it was really great, but I've always felt that this was a big missed opportunity for this show, and specifically this episode, because even though the Krang was playing Raph, I thought it was a big missed opportunity that No North did not get a chance to reprise his Raph role and use his Raph voice again. It was a big missed opportunity. But yeah, so then going into the first scene. So with the first scene, we do get to see the Krang kidnapped a human and a pigeon and trying to sort their brains. And that's when they get into a big fight with the turtles. What do you think about that scene there?
The first opening scene of the Turtles, I really wasn't expecting it. I really wasn't expecting the Krang to go as far as swapping minds with different people, especially like high-ranking officials such as like presidents and all that side of things. It was really weird and interesting, and the fact they hadn't done that before was kind of shocking to me. But we're now getting into it now, which is pretty cool, I guess. But no, I thought it was really funny how they got some random poor New Yorker off the street and then merged his brain with a pigeon's brain. And it was just really funny and really wacky, because it was just super weird how the Krang have just done this, and how they're swapping brains with people now, which is just, one, is just crazy, and two, a bit like unbelievable, because you'd think they'd already start swapping people with brains, but I'm guessing they've already just opened up to the idea of doing this, like swapping people's brains with Krangs and trying to mutate the world that way.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that this was a really creative thing, and something which, again, with this, I'm quite surprised by you that I haven't done this before. And with it being like so late into the season, I feel like there was a lot of missed opportunities here, because have you seen the show Secret Invasion?
The Marvel one?
Yes, the one with the scrolls.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes, I have.
Yeah. I've always felt like they could have done something like that, and like really make it in building it up to be like a big mystery about like who's a Krang, who can you not trust, and stuff like that. But yeah, they don't really do anything with that idea. And I think for like when doing something like this, it's just like all the stuff was there to make it so great and amazing, and yet they just went ahead and just did a man with a pigeon, and it's just like there was so much potential there to do some really great and amazing stuff, and yet you did this. It's just so annoying.
That does sound annoying. Like, I do understand where you're coming from with that. Like, the potential for it could have been amazing.
Yeah, I also found it weird that like they just do it in like some weird random warehouse and not doing like a secure like Krang base or even for the Technodrome. It does seem like really weird that they were just doing just some random warehouse where just like so coincidence like tools are there. And this warehouse being used before in the show. It's just like, what do you think about the fight scene between the turtles and the Krang in that warehouse bit?
I thought it was alright. It's not as great as some others, but it was really cool to see how Ralph's negligence and always like willingness to fight got him switched with a Krang, which was really funny. And it was just so cool to see how he awoke as a Krang, like reaching out to his brothers and them not realizing that Krang is in Raphael and that Raphael is now Krang. God, try saying that 100 times.
Yeah, with the fight scene, I thought it was like one of those ones that's just okay and just there to like really move the plot along. But there was like a few things in here which I did like. I mean, I like Mikey's little joke about how the pigeon or the man has to hold himself together or get himself together with the pigeon. I don't know why that That made me laugh quite a bit.
I did too. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, it's a stupid joke, and I hated it that I laughed at it, but it was funny. And then also the Krang that was fighting Raph. I found it so weird that throughout the whole show, this has only happened another time in the season 1 finale in the Tesseract building, where Raph was throwing like loads weapons at the Krang, and now it's happening here. It just seems so weird that, like, out of all the opportunities the Krang had to actually beat the Turtles and be a real threat, only now are they a real threat, and it's only one Krang. It just seems like so weird. But I mean, how do you feel about it? Just like all of a sudden there's just like one really strong Krang, and yeah, like what do you think about that?
Well, I think that it could have been really dangerous because a Krang in a turtle's body with the information and knowledge and battle skills that they have, I think it could have been like a proper turtle threat. You know, there's the Avenger level threat. It's the turtle level threat that we're dealing with here. Like, a Krang could be so dangerous in the mind of in the mind and body of a Ninja Turtle. That's what I think. Like, it could be so dangerous, but as you say, I don't understand why they're doing it now, so late in the series, but I think it was pretty cool that a high-ranking level Krang could infiltrate the Turtles in such a way and learn all their secrets. I thought that was pretty cool too, but as you say, the implications are just a bit mundane, like, with it all, like, why now, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of these things, there's like so many questions about all of it, and it just seems like, oh, what a coincidence, they're doing it now in this episode, and all that. And yeah, and then also with the, what do you think about the, like, Raph, like, switching bodies with the Krang? I know I, like, briefly talked about it, but, like, what do you think about it as, like, a whole, like, episode kind of thing? Because
a whole episode?
Yeah, because, I mean, I enjoyed it for the most part. I thought that they did a lot of really fun stuff in this one, but I do feel like it was a really big missed opportunity that No North didn't get a chance to actually use his Raph voice from the 2007 movie. That was just such a big missed opportunity. Yeah, but what do you think about that?
To be honest, I thought the Raph becoming, well, Krang becoming Raphael, sorry, was, this is going to get very confusing.
Yeah.
But no, I thought it was really cool, how they used Krang as Raphael, and I liked how the two sides came together in such a weird way, but it works for some reason. Like, I don't know how to explain it from a perspective. Words cannot describe what I'm trying to portray to the audience. Like, it was weird because we never get to see this. Like, I've never seen this before because I'm still new to the universe of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But it was so weird and wacky. It's a different quirky side of how the Turtles can play out, and I just found it really interesting and cool.
Well, next bit is a very little scene, but I just want to talk about it. The person who was a pigeon wakes up and goes, "I'm not a pigeon, I'm a man!" I love that bit so much.
Oh, yeah, it was pretty funny. That was pretty funny as well. Like, you couldn't help but laugh. Like, the guy's just tripping out on, like, this really weird dream, and he's now gone insane because of it.
Yeah. Well, the next bit is a little bit weird to describe, but we've got Mikey waking up Raph using his wall claw things and scratching his body. That is a dangerous way to wake someone up. Raph should have died.
Oh yeah, massively. When I saw Mikey bring out his bear claws and started, like, scratching Raphael, I'm thinking, what are you doing? Are you just trying to make him bleed or something? Like, I don't know, like, how he didn't get hurt. And of course the slapping didn't help either. Like, Raph is like a tank. He could take any hit without showing any sign of, like, being hurt or anything like that. And it was just so weird how we used them as, like, tickling him on his foot and on his sides, on his skin. Like they look really sharp, and he's just tickling him away. I'm like, what are you doing, Mikey? You trying to kill your brother or something?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it was funny, but at the same time, that is just such a unique way to wake someone up. But I do have Raffin the Shell Razor, and everyone doesn't know why he's acting that way, and he does attack everyone before he leaves the Shell Razor. What do you think about that scene there?
When they're all in the Shell Razor heading back to base, I thought, one, he's driving in the middle of New York City where everyone can see the Shell Razor and no one is even looking or bothered by it. I guess it's a New Yorker thing. I guess they're too bothered. I guess the New Yorkers see a lot of crazy things and they just like knock it on the head saying, this is New York. This is just like a normal Tuesday scene, like a giant garbage truck with cannons rolling through the city. But I digress. But no, I thought it was really funny. Raph waking up in the Shell Razor, him trying to figure out where he is. And I'm not going to lie, I couldn't help but laugh with Krang's voice, even though I dislike the Krang's way of talking. And for those who have been really long time viewers of this podcast, you would know that me and the Krang, we don't get along. Just because how they talk, because the Krang's voice and dialogue is just so mundane. There's no grammar. It just annoys me. It just annoys me so much. But I digress again. Sorry, I'm going way too much into this. But I just got to say it because it annoys me because of his voice. But with the whole scene in general, I really did enjoy it because it showed, it already highlighted my previous point on to say how dangerous a high-ranking Krang could infiltrate into the mind and body of an Ninja Turtle and use it as a weapon against the Turtles. Their own brother used against them. That is a really dangerous weapon for the Turtles and would be that I would consider as a high-level Turtle threat.
I mean, for some reason, this bit here, it gave me... I mean, I liked it, but no, I'm talking about the wrong bit actually. About the vibes it's giving me. But I mean, this bit, I thought it was it was okay, and I do like how the fact that I must admit, I don't like the fact that the Turtles don't instantly recognise that it's not Raph because of how he is and all that. It's quite weird that he's talking in a way of Krang, and yet they're like, oh no, it's not him, it's Raph and all that. So I do find that weird compared to the 2003 version when they did a similar sort of storyline to this, where they did have bodies swapping and all that, and yet none of the characters in that episode knew the characters were swapped. But I like how in this one they do know they has been swapped, but I'm a little annoyed that it has taken them this long to actually realise it. Despite him clearly just talking in Krang language and even using the Krang voice, it's just so weird and bad. But yeah, but then we do go into the next scene where we do get to see Raph. He's in the Technodrome. What do you think about that bit there?
When Raphael awakes in the Technodrome, I thought, wow, he's actually inside the enemy base. He's behind enemy lines and he could destroy them from within. And I thought this could be really good for a really good Mission Impossible type situation where Raphael enters the base, he destroys and creates anarchy within the system. But sadly, I thought it was a bit of a letdown, but we'll talk about that later. But no, I thought him waking up in the Krang facility, the Krang think he's Krang, and he's been taken to Med Bay. And then, of course, Raphael comes to the conclusion that he's not in his body anymore. He's in a Krang body, in the Krang base. So, but no, I thought that was pretty cool. And his first reaction, trying to act all Krang-like, was pretty funny as well. He was trying to blend in with the Krang, and of course, he was trying to talk like Krang and be Krang. I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, with the animation here, it was really giving me I think the best way to describe it is like Toy Story vibes. I don't know if I was giving you any sort of vibes from it with that bit there.
Toy Story vibes.
Yeah, it's just the way that like Raph was
Oh.
or like Krang was moving in that bit, or like Raph was moving. Like it was just really giving me like so many like Toy Story kind of vibes. I mean, like original Toy Story vibes. But
Oh, okay. I see where
Yeah.
I see where you're coming from there.
yeah, it's just like the more than like the movements of how it was moving versus like Toy Story. I think that's the best way of describing it. And yeah, so then, the
I
next
thought it was more like a puppet.
yeah, I guess. The next bit, which I think is something we should be questioning a lot about, Krang turning his full head around, or Raph's full head around in Raph's body. He should be dead.
Oh, yeah, that was, I'm not gonna lie, that was very creepy, very eerie, and very creepy. Like, in one of those horror movies, like, there's this random stranger, and he turns his head all the way around 180, and it's looking at you, and it's just terrifying. But luckily enough, it wasn't as creepy as it was, because it was supposed to be like a light. I thought it was supposed to be like a light sort of manner, because they wouldn't put that in a like a kid's TV show. They wouldn't like show the head being violently ripped off of its socket to look at the person behind him. That would have been a bit messed up, you know. But they did it slowly to prevent that, I think. But no, I thought that was really cool and creepy, like Krang turning Raphael's head. To be honest, I didn't even know Raphael's head could even do that. I didn't even know that was even possible.
I don't think it is possible. I think he should have died. I mean, even if it was in Krang's body or whatever it was, he should be dead. There's like no way you can get around it.
Neck.
Yeah, it's just like no way you can get around it. He should be dead. Yeah. So then going this next bit, we do get to see Raph. He goes into the room and sees Krang Prime talking about the invasion, and also he tries to use the orb. So a few things with this bit here. First of all, how does Raph know how to use the Krang orb? He doesn't know how to use it in his normal body. How do you automatically know how to use it here? That bit there annoys me because he shouldn't know how to use it. And then the next thing, which I think is a little bit bad on their part, is the fact that they're talking about an invasion this late into the season. We've only got, I believe, 6 episodes left. It's like that's way too short of a notice to like set up an invasion. At least with like last season, it was actually set up throughout the whole season. But here it was doing it in the last 6 episodes. It is, I think it's bad storytelling. What do you think about that scene, though?
To be honest, I do have to agree with you on the Krang communication orb situation. I really don't know how Raphael can operate the Krang communication orb, because one, like you said, he shouldn't know how to do it, and two, he's never taken interest in it before, so why now? But there's a few theories that I'd like to throw out and talk about, like maybe Raphael paid attention but didn't act like he was paying attention when Donnie was using it behind the scenes. We don't know. And two, I believe Raphael may have learned how to use the communication orb from Donnie in his spare time, perhaps. This is only just theories, and I know they are big ones, but those are just a few that might explain the situation. But knowing me, they're probably all like wrong or something.
Well, I'm not too sure just because they don't really explain it, but it just seems weird that he knows how to use it, but yeah. But what do you think about the part about them setting up the invasion in this episode, despite only having like 6 episodes left?
Yeah, that is, well, that may be a bit short notice, but yeah, I do see where you're coming from there. Like, why now? Why do they talk about the invasion when previous seasons that they've been defeated so many times because their invasion failed, and now they're throwing another invasion at them, thinking it's going to be different? Like, what's the point?
Yeah, I mean, also I think like another thing is that like I think it's also not like another problem with this bit here. It's not necessarily that it's like another invasion or it's a Krang, but I do think like a big like two problems here is that like one is so late into the season without setting anything up, but also at the same time because I haven't set anything up throughout the rest of the season, it does feel a little bit like thrown on at the end of things, despite them like setting things up for the Shredder story arc and like stuff with Cry. So it just seems like really weird they're throwing this in when they've already got stuff with Shredder and all that. So it just seems like they can't really make up their mind in terms of like what they wanted to really do and what they want to go ahead with, which just seems like so weird. But then going into the next bit, was you expecting to see the Turtle sub and the Sea Monster again?
To be honest, no. I really didn't expect to see the Sea Monster and the Turtle sub again. To be honest, at first I thought I was watching like the old clip for some reason. I was thinking, hold on a minute, why are we watching the old episodes? And then of course I realised it's a new one. But yeah, that was funny to realise. But no, I thought that was really funny to see the Sea Monster and the Turtle sub again, because we haven't seen them in like, God, how many episodes has it been? I can't remember, but quite a lot, right?
I think it's been like a season since we last saw the sub and the monster.
Oh wow, so yeah, almost a season then. But no, I thought it was really funny. But also, I'm surprised the Sea Monster, like, remembered the turtle sub after the last encounter it had, and almost destroying it by hugging it to death. But
yeah.
No, I thought it was really funny, and how the Sea Monster is deeply in love with the turtle sub, and he's trying to make friend from it. And then, of course, the turtles, like, no remorse, just fire torpedoes at the poor thing, and just trying to, like, get it off of its tail, of course. But, nah. But, to be honest, I gotta have pity on the poor Sea Monster. Like, he's only just trying to find a friend. His line of work, it's lonely, and he's trying to find a friend. And then, of course, the turtles come along, deceive the poor thing, and then fire torpedoes at it. Like, come on. Give the guy a break.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't really too surprised by the sub thing just because it's pretty much the only way the turtles get around underwater, so it wasn't really like a big deal for that, but I was quite surprised by seeing the Sea Monster again, because I haven't seen like some of these episodes in ages, so seeing like that monster was like, oh yeah, that was a thing, so I was quite surprised by that, and yeah. So then going into the next bit, we do get see Raph. He gets one of the Krang buddies, and he sees Mikey and Casey, and they start to make fun of him by putting his face. What do you think about that scene there?
To be honest, I thought that was quite funny. Like, I've always wanted to know how a Krang would like feel like in person. Like, you would touch the Krang body and you would think like it'll be squishy, it'll be mushy, and now that Casey and Mikey have touched it and they've visually spoken about it, the audience now gets an understanding of what it's like as a Krang, and like it's how it feels and what it looks like and all of that from their perspective. And I just thought that was pretty interesting because it adds story development, which is pretty cool. And it also proves my theory that Krang are pieces of chewing gum, as Mikey said, and Casey said. And I thought that was really funny. It's like, oh my god, it's a piece of gum, and it's just alive with eyeballs, and that is literally how I first perceived the Krang. Before I started the podcast with you, that's what I thought they were, just pieces of gum with eyeballs, and they're just squishy and mushy. And I thought that was really funny because it proved my beliefs.
Yeah, wow. I mean, with this scene here, I mean, I thought it was just like an okay scene. Wasn't really didn't really think too much of it. But I think the one thing that that I really liked about this bit was the fact that it was actually developing like Mikey and Casey's relationship. I mean, I enjoy that because we don't really get to see too many relationships with Casey outside of Raph and April. So I thought it was like a nice change, and yeah, I don't know, wish there was a little bit more of it. That's all I really get to say about it. But then going into the next scene, Oh boy. So the next scene is them fighting all the Krang and all that. Trying to say a date. But first I want to talk about the Casey and April switching body scene.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Right. How am I going to word this in a way that we don't get banned?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not too sure. Do you want to go first on this one?
I just think it
Or
is...
should I?
No, I think I will, because I think, because I've got quite a bit to say about it now. But I think it's so weird and disgusting that the animators, writers and all that are putting in scenes like this and over-sexualizing a teenager. It is disgusting and weird, and the fact that Nickelodeon did not do anything about it says a lot about them, and they really do need to change a lot. And I'm glad that they have changed a lot of stuff, but it is just so weird that they're doing this to a teenager. I think if it was just like a normal, like adult girl, it will not be as bad. It'll be it still will be weird and creepy, but not as bad as a teenager. It is disgusting, and I wish they would have changed their ways. Unfortunately, they don't really change too much, and it is disgusting. Yeah, yeah, you go ahead now.
Okay, you said your part. To be honest, I thought it was... At first, I was thinking, oh, it's cool. It's like a Freaky Friday situation, you know? They've switched bodies, and it's weird, it's freaky, and all of that sort of stuff. But then when Casey decides to look and check out his new body, April's new body. Gosh, sorry, I'm going to get very confused between the two characters now. Everybody keeps switching sides. I'm like, just choose one and stick to it. But no, I thought it was very, very weird how Casey Jones was checking out April O'Neil. Like, Casey was checking out April's behind and just exploring, as I would say, April's body. It's just a really weird sort of thing. Like if we were children, we wouldn't understand it. But now that we're a bit older, we understand it a bit more because we've learned what it is with... oh gosh, help me out here, mate. You understand. Like, we understand it a bit more now, and how it looks very weird and very creepy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I thought that was very, very weird. Like, sure, it would have been like cool if it would have been cool if it was just like, oh, they swap bodies and their voice changes and all that. But then, of course, they add in Casey Jones checking out April O'Neil's body. It's a bit much, you know.
Yeah, I mean, to think that it's actually written by full adults and doing this for teenagers, I just think, like, I mean, there's no way they can really justify it, but I think, like, as kids, we don't really, like, think of it too much deeply because of it, because we just think, oh, that's a funny scene, ha ha ha, and don't really think too much of it, but now that we're all grown up, it is just so weird and creepy, and there's just, like, no way they can, like, just, like, explain themselves whatsoever, and they really do need to improve themselves a lot. Yeah, that's all I really got to say about that bit. Like, shame it doesn't improve, and I feel like they definitely do need to improve. But, oh god, yeah. So, yeah, moving on.
Moving on.
Yeah, what about the rest of the scene with Raph fighting the Krang and trying not to kill himself and stuff like that?
To be honest, I thought it was pretty funny. Like, Raphael fighting the Krang in Raphael's body. And I thought it was pretty cool that Raphael got to use the upgraded version of a Krang suit, which is pretty cool, and him using it to its full potential with his fighting skills and abilities and all of that. And of course, Krang being Krang in Raphael's body and using Krang weaponry. I thought that was pretty fun and pretty cool and interesting. But yeah, I thought the fight scene was pretty cool. minus the Casey Jones and April O'Neil part. But apart from that, I thought it was pretty cool and really interesting on how it all played out, really. And I did enjoy at the end when Krang and Raphael switched back into their original bodies, and how Raphael used the Krang like a basketball.
Yeah, I mean, I really did enjoy this, the overall fight scene. I did think there was a lot of fun stuff in this episode, especially like this fight scene here, with them trying to swap bodies. Raph nearly killed himself, which, would that be classed as suicide? I'm not too sure. But I think
we better not get into that one.
Yeah, I mean, I think, like, overall is like an interesting and fun fight scene. I feel like there's like a lot of stuff which they could have done, and I feel like there was still a lot of potential with what they could have done with like swapping more bodies. Maybe not swapping Casey and April, but I feel like there was a lot of stuff which they could have done. But I feel like overall what it did, it was just nice enough. I do feel like they retread a few bits in here with like Raph fighting another powerful Krang again. It did remind me a lot of the season 1 stuff, but other than that, I thought it was like okay, but could have been better, I would say. But yeah, other than that, I thought it was just okay, I want to say. But then we did go into the last scenes where we do get to see Raph saying he's sorry, and we do get to see Donnie saying, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna stop the Krang with this new device." What do you think about that scene there?
Ah, gotcha. To be honest, I thought that scene was pretty cool. The turtles were back, all in one piece. And of course, Raphael apologizing. That was a shocker to everyone. It's like Raphael apologizing to say thank you for getting me back into my own body. And everyone's pretty shocked. It's like, hold on a minute, did Raphael just say thank you? And to be honest, I was in the same boat. It's like, hold on a minute, did we change Raphael back into his former self? Or is he still Krang deep down for apologizing and saying thank you and all of that? But no, I thought that was pretty funny as well. But I really did like Donnie's sketch. I don't know what it is, but Donnie's sketch looked like an AT-80 or some sort of robotic titan or something along those lines to beat the invasion of Krang. And I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that with the Raph apologising, it was okay. It wasn't, I don't know, I think that because we've seen this version of Raph apologise before, and like, he has apologised and other stuff and all that, I don't think it was really that, oh my god, I can't believe he did that type of thing, but it was alright, I would say. But with the device thing, honestly, I forgot that part was in this episode, but I thought it was okay, but again, it's just like, you're leaving it a bit too late to be something like stuff like this up, but it was okay, but it was annoying that they're doing it here. But yeah. So yeah, what do you think about this episode overall?
Overall, I thought this episode was very weird, very like Freaky Friday sort of stuff, if you get what I mean, where two people swap their bodies and trying to figure out how to get back. I thought that was very cool how they did it. Like, it was a Freaky Friday sort of situation. Everyone was trying to figure out who's who and how to get back to their own bodies. But overall, I thought this was a pretty fun and quirky little episode. Bit annoyed that they're starting to like experiment with like human and Krang brain swaps and all of that, if you even call it that, such late in the season and when we've almost got 6 episodes left. But overall, I thought it was a pretty decent episode.
Yeah, I would say that it was a fun episode, I'll say that. I feel like there was a lot of stuff in here to really enjoy, and I feel like there was a lot of stuff that I do feel like they could have expanded upon and turned into something a bit more. I'm sorry, but unfortunately they just don't, and I think that's like really annoying that they don't. But other than that, it was okay. But I think like the most annoying parts about it is just the fact that they have set stuff up for the future for any season, despite being very late in the game, and then the stuff with Case in April. I just think that's just stuff that it's a thing that happened, and I'm very surprised not more people are talking about it because of like what it is and all that. So yeah, but yeah, do you want to hear some comments now?
Let's hear them. God, it's been a while since we've done comments.
Yeah. Okay, so these ones are coming from Reddit. We've got a few here, and a bit lengthy, shall we say. Okay, so Freelance Wolf, they put, I like how they figured out immediately that he was, that the Krang wasn't their brother. In almost other shows, the person says, like, almost in, like, other shows, nobody realises until the end of the episode, so it gets tiring after a while. And, yeah, I mean, it was nice that I did notice it after Raph was, or Krang was speaking in Krang language. Krang Raph was also very brutal to Mikey. Real Raph would never go that far. He's strong enough to do that, but he doesn't. I mean, I feel like Raph would do that, if he was angry enough. This person also says, I don't like that writers try to blame the switcheroo to Raph when he didn't do anything. When they were told Raph they had to go, he was being attacked. How could he possibly do anything at that point? It wasn't being impetuous at all in the entire episode. It's one of the very few issues I have with the show. Splinter says, wait, have patience. It was Raphael's impatience that put him in the den of the enemy. You must not make the same mistake. Since when was he impatient? Since when was he impatient? It was an accident. He never was impatient. Lavador described it. The only time he was right at the beginning, but stopped when they stopped him. Does it matter? They're not baking cookies. So, yeah, I can understand where this person's coming from, and yeah, it does seem, yeah. ISYR89, they put, I like that you sparked the discussion off with your personal views on this on this episode. I might not agree with everything, but I know where you're coming from. I found the pigeon switch funny. I like the Raph switch as well, and how it was used to set up the final. Sean Astin's Krang performance was hilarious, and yeah, it was. I like how No North got to voice Raph once more. Yeah, just shame he didn't actually get to use his Raph voice. The Casey's switch was a bit cringe, but that's a teenage boy's behaviour. No, that's... no. And also, fun fact, on his sketch are usually the design sketch from the creator. That's cool. T and R vlogs, they put, I don't really like the dude that sort so TV the pigeon could speak. That they sound similar just cause the brain switch. Not the vocal cords. Same with Raph and Krang. Yeah, I must admit, I did find that a bit weird, like, the vocal cords switch as well. What do you think about that?
To be honest, now that you say it, I think that was pretty cool, how the character's voice changed with the vocabulary. Like, when Raphael was, Krang, when Krang was in Raphael's body, his whole voice changed. Like, he was trying to speak Krang using Raphael's vocal cords. Like, Raphael's voice is much deeper, much more stoic, whilst the Krang uses like an auto-tune audio box as sorts, like a very robotic voice to communicate. And the Krang trying to replicate that in Raphael's body was pretty cool and pretty fascinating on how they actually did that.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was, like, okay, I want to say, but I do feel like, I don't know, because I think if they're going for, like, the creative route of, like, showing the audience for, like, it's the characters that swap, then, yeah, I think that's okay, but if it's not, then I think that is weird, but, I don't know, I think it's just, I think it depends, like, whatever way you look at it, it's creative or it's fun. I think it's just, like, I don't know, it's one of those kind of things that it's like, it's 101 different things, but it could be whatever you want it to be. So, I'm not too mad about it, but it just seemed weird compared to, like, other franchises that does stuff like this. So, yeah. Okay, do you want to hear some trivia now?
Let's hear it.
Okay, so, for the trivia, in the episode's title is a reference to the 1959 sci-fi film Plan 9 from Outer Space by director Ed Wood. Now, this is something which is not on the trivia bit, which is really confusing, really strange. So, if you go on Paramount Plus, the episode is actually switched from Plan 10 to Plan 10 from Another Dimension. Also found out that a few other episodes also got a title switch as well. Just like the last episode, the Legend of the Kuro Kabuto. On Paramount Plus, it's called The Legend of a Silver Kabuto. And also the Baxter Stockman episode where it got mutated was changed as well to Baxter Stockman. The lonely mutation of Baxter Stockman threatens mutate April O'Neil. Something along those lines. So I love how they screwed up their own show.
Really? They did that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's so weird. Like they went back and changed the titles of the episodes for the on Paramount Plus, but didn't change it in the actual episode. It's just a really weird thing. But yeah.
How did they mess that up?
I've not got a clue, but it's a thing that happened. So let's make fun of it. Okay, moving on. This episode has a similar premise to the 1987 episode, The Old Switcheroo, where Splinter and Shredder switch bodies, as well as the episode Raph drives them wild, where Raph switch bodies with a cabbie named Oscar. There's also another episode from that show as well, where Mikey and Shredder switch bodies. I feel like you may have seen a clip where like Shredder's walking into a lair, and Lou goes, "Shredder!" and Shredder turns around and goes, "Shredder, where?" I don't know if have you seen that clip?
Yeah, I've seen that clip.
Yeah, that's from the 80s show, and yeah, I don't know why they didn't put that one on this trivia list. Either way, when Raph and Crank switch bodies, also switch voices too, but on the show they both sound the same to everyone in the show. It was made so the viewer won't get confused. Coincidentally enough, No North, who voiced Crank, previously voiced Raphael in the 2007 TMNT movie. In the scene where Raph escapes from the other Krang, he makes various noises that Jerome Lester Hoswitz, better known as Curly Howard of the Three Stooges, made during his film career as a character. For a brief moment, Mikey is seen wearing his white undies in the final scene. Oh god. Ski Lord, the villain of the show that we're watching, is damn phone. It's an obvious reference to or parody of Skeleton Kid. Or oh no, God, hang on. Let me redo that one. The villain from the anime which they're watching, which is called Skeleton King, is a parody of the character called Skeletor for He-Man in the Masters of the Universe. So that's kind of cool.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. Skeletor and He-Man.
Yeah. Okay, so for the cast, so we have April O'Neil voiced by Mae Whitman, Casey voiced by Josh Peck, Donatello voiced by Rob Paulson, Leonardo voiced by Dominic Canterbone, Michelangelo voiced by Greg Sipes, Raphael voiced by Sean Astin, Crane Prime voiced by Rosanade Barr, Man 1 is voiced by Noah North, Splinter voiced by Hoon Lee. From the anime thing to watch, Captain Dash Coolstar voiced by Brian Bloom, Dr. Blip voiced by Scott Menville, Lunk voiced by Noah North, Princess voiced by Mae Whitman, and the skeleton character voiced by Josh Peck. Wow, that's pretty packed cast. Yeah, I must admit, I was quite surprised that I didn't get like a new voice actor in for that guy who changed through the pigeon. I don't know, he was giving me, what's that guy's called? Also, no, damn, I'm not going to screw the name up, but, and let me quick, I know the character, Oswald? No. Jeez, I'm sounding insane. Patton Oswalt. Let me get a picture, I'll send it to you, and you know who I'm talking about, since you see him, you'd be like, oh, that guy.
Alright. I'll have a look.
Yeah,
see if I recognise him.
No, you will recognise him. It was just, he reminded me a lot of that voice, but not, surprised that it wasn't him. Yeah, him. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of his voice, but...
Was it not him?
No,
though?
it wasn't. I'm quite surprised by that.
Oh, to be honest, that's what I probably would have gone for first. You know, that guy as a voice actor for the Pigeon Man. I say.
Yeah. You know what? He also reminds me who he could play. Pulverizer.
Over that could be interesting.
In both real life and in TV show, I feel like it could work either way. But
yeah,
yes.
that would be funny.
Oh my god, yes. Next week's episode, Vengeance is Mine. Oh my god. What do you think is going to happen in that episode?
Ooh, there's so many things could happen in there. I think it's something to do with the Shredder, perhaps. But there's so many. Like, there's Tiger Claw. There's there's so many subplots happening right now. We've got the Karai and Master Splinter situation going on right now. We've got the Shredder paradox that's going on as well. We've got the Krang as well happening. There's so many.
Yeah, I'll make it easy.
I don't know which one it is. Oh, it is Shredder.
Yeah.
Got ya.
Yeah.
Okay. I think Vengeance is Mine. It sounds like Shredder's gonna take his vengeance at last. I think he's gonna do something really bad, but I don't know what, because there's so many things that have happened with Shredder and the Turtles. Like, I don't know. There's so many possibilities with this one, but it does sound very good.
Yeah. Okay. With how good it is arguably one of the best episodes from the show, and I believe, if I remember correctly, this episode also won an Emmy as well. Like this episode in particular. If I remember this correctly,
Emmy?
Yeah, but I'm not too sure about that. But I'm pretty sure this episode was the one that like helped get an Emmy. That's how good this episode is. It is one of the best ones.
Really?
Yeah. Just think of like
an Emmy award.
Yeah. Just think of like Wrath of Tiger Claw type of episode, like with the action being on point, emotions being through the roof, everything is on point.
Wow. Jeez, this must be good then.
Oh yes, it is one of the best episodes ever. But
I'd have to take your word on it, mate.
You'll find out next week. Yeah. If you want to get onto the podcast, you can leave a comment on YouTube, Reddit, where else? Anchor through text message or voice message. But yeah, I've been your host Teddy,
and I've been Hayden,
and we'll see you soon. Goodbye, yo, bye.
Bye.